Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the J22 Report. I'm your host, Johnny Market. You all know that drill. Smash that like button, subscribe if you already haven't, and just wanted to get in today's news. A lot to talk about: gold in Fort Knox, gold and whatnot. So let's talk about it. First, I just want to do a little disclaimer. Nothing I say should be construed as financial investment advice. Just my opinions, thoughts on the market. And let's get into the economic data. And before I get into it, just remember, smash that like button, subscribe. And so look at the initial jobless claims. That's up 219,000. More than consensus, less than the forecast. Sort of strange, but the thing is with all the Doge layoffs, a lot of them, like, there's two things. One, the fork in the road email. Two, uh, the actual layoffs. A lot of those aren't going to show up, I would say, until next month or next week or just for certain purposes and whatnot. In terms of the people who accepted that email, that's a resignation and they're still working. So a lot of those won't even show up in layoffs or unemployment and everything. So that will you won't be reflected in jobless claims. If you look at continuing jobless claims, that's less than expected. Philly Fed business, that's pretty good. That's pretty solid. Now, this is what baffles me is the leading indexes. And these leading indexes are negative. They're just constantly negative. I don't know why. I have no idea why. Uh, and it hasn't led to a mountain market downturn. Now, I think this will be a big market downturn, and that's what I think it led to, but this seems to be just worthless. So anyway, it's not big, but the stock market, if you actually look at it, the stock market, it took a beating today. S&P down 26. Now it's down worse intraday, and Dow Jones down 450 points. And if you look at it, it was actually down worse intraday at one point. And of course, the Nasdaq doing poorly. Uh, but if you actually look at why, Walmart, this is where America shops. This had weak guidance. And if anyone knows anything about how the consumer is doing, it is Walmart because that's where America shops. Walmart and Amazon. Even though the earnings were good, their fiscal guidance, if you look at it, retailers, fiscal guidance disappointed investors. So if you look at it, I think Walmart sees a lot of people struggling. A lot of people, maybe they're not buying as much, maybe they're uh not just buying as much. I didn't really read it, but they have those Walmart Plus subscriptions and everything. Maybe some people they're not getting people to sign up for them anymore. Some people are coming down from them. They're doing less, but and not only that, one of the reasons Walmart benefited was because a lot of the higher end consumers uh came down. They traded down. And what I think it is a lot of those higher end consumers, they traded down, they shopped like they did, but they got the Walmart prices. But maybe they see that they're cutting back. They're not as buying as much beef. They're not buying as many eggs. They're not buying as much beer. Maybe they're cutting back on discretionary stuff that they used to. They're not buying DVDs. Well, I mean, a lot of people use streaming, but That's probably what Walmart says. I didn't listen, so I don't know exactly what's going on. And if you look at more, look at this. United Healthcare, they're offering buyouts to employees and could pursue layoffs. So, insurance industry, something you have to have. I know technically you don't, but I mean, I have to be honest. I remember one time I went to the hospital and my bill was about 80, 90K if I didn't have insurance. Now, granted, some people argue that if you don't have insurance, you can negotiate and go lower. Like, how much lower would it have gone? But because of insurance, I only had to pay 2K. And thank goodness I have insurance. So technically, if you live in America, you need insurance. I'm sorry. Uh, but yeah, so United Healthcare, even though people need health insurance, some people maybe they're saying I pay so much for insurance, maybe I'll just roll the dice. So, and then here it is, 2025, and this is Fox Business, so this is pro-Trump kicks in. So as 2025 kicks in, so are layoffs. Now, in regards to Meta or Facebook, I read somewhere you're just gonna have to believe me that they're pursuing bigger executive bonuses now. So, as I said, it doesn't mean anything. They just wanted to pay themselves big bonuses. Doesn't mean the company's doing poorly. Maybe I'm not saying I feel bad for the people who lost their jobs, but here it is, headcount reductions, early companies. Of course, Blue Origin, this is with Bezos. I don't think I feel bad for the people getting laid off, but I do think it's for selfish reasons where he wants to supplement it with foreign labor that's much cheaper, or he wants to pay himself a bigger bonus. I don't think it means the economy's doing poorly because he lays off. Now, it's bad for the US, but I don't think it's the consumers broke or whatnot. So that this is, but here's the other one, Chevron. They talk about drill baby drill, but it'll lay off 15 to 20%. And here's the thing with oil, they can't afford to be wrong. They have to get the capex. They have to. So Chevron, they're laying people off, and you think with this drill baby drill that they would actually be benefiting. Estee Lauder. There's one, they're laying off people. So cut 7,000 jobs. That is, JP Morgan, several rounds of layoffs. This is really a Kohl's, that's another one. 10% of its corporate layoffs. 10%. So if you just look at it, Meta, I already went over those. But you look at it in Southwest, I talked about that. This is a big deal. People, they can't afford to travel. So if you look at it, this is really, and not only that, the federal government's laying people off. Now, I know people can say that that means less tax. No, it doesn't. They even have, I'll go into this later, but Doge dividends, they're either going to do massive amounts of, paying like government contracts or something, so people indirectly work for the government instead of directly, or they're going to spend it on something else, maybe war in the Middle East, maybe increase Social Security benefits, or something, either their donors or give it back to the voters. Like it's not. And it'll just be a check. And it'll be a direct check from the government. It won't be so those. But let's switch back. Let's go to gold. Gold, look at it today. It was actually just for let's see. Let's do. I'm just gonna do GLD. Had a good day. Really came up. It was actually negative at one point, but as you can tell, it was up today. And see if we can go to the so I can see, yeah, gold's much easier than silver. I can do a whole 1 day chart. If you look at it, it came down around 8:30, just went down, called a bid, and then around just finished up on the day. So it was up $4, $3. I remember my portfolio being up. Now it's down. This is after hours, but gold's going and as you can tell, Wall Street loves gold. Goldman Sachs, they raised their year-end target to 3,100. So it's not just Bank of America says 3,500. Goldman's now raising it to 3,100. Now you have to remember, I was the first channel early in 2024 to say this is going to 3,000. So if you wanted to know who was the first to actually give a number on it, it was this guy right here. So anyway, uh, Goldman Sachs raising it to 3,100. And I think that's going to continue. I think with and I think the big upswing is going to be when the Fed has to force the lower rates. We're going to get in recession. And then let me talk a little bit about this. Let's see, I'm going to get rid of this tab, but then here it is. Musk Fort Knox audit of the nation's gold supply. And the big controversy is a lot of people say, is there gold there or is there not? And that's the big. I personally don't like getting the conspiracies. I've seen them when I worked in the gold. They destroy people's analyst. I used to believe in them. I used to think that gold was manipulated. Only idiots think it's manipulated now. It's not manipulated. Uh, it's not. If you're like, oh, the government buys and sells it, government gives out government contracts to huge amounts of companies. Uh, the person who pasteurized cheese, he gave he got rich off of government contracts, and that was during the Gilded Age. Uh, there was many Elon Musk government contracts. So as long as there's human beings, governments are going to exist, and they're going to spend money on things. They're going to collect tax revenue. They're going to buy. They're going to sell things. Go, the brown bottom, where in England in the early 2000s sold all its gold reserves, and it really cost a lot of money. Now, is Fort Knox gold there? Uh, I think there is a lot of it, but I don't know if they have as much as they say. It's suspicious that it hasn't been audited, but it also could just be how long it takes to count all that gold. They just don't feel like doing it. You never say never, but I do want to see them audit, and I hope this happens. And what I think they're planning to do is either one or two things. Uh, some people say they're going to revalue it to 5,000 or 7,000 and help the deficit. I actually think they want to sell it, personally. I think they want to revalue it and then sell it to help them with the deficit. And then once they sell it, that will probably be the beginning of like an 8 to 9 year bear market. And they even had a bill where they would sell gold from our strategic reserve and buy Bitcoin, which I think is dumb. I think gold should be there just in case there's a default. You can immediately back your currency with gold and restore value again. So, how much gold is there? I don't know, but if you look at it, I just want to go back. You, the manipulation stories and a lot of these conspiracies, they don't help you with investing. They don't. And you're better off not paying attention to them. And that's the truth. I'm going to try to see if I can find this video again and so I can share it. So if you look at gold, I'll share this real quick. This is one I won't forget this comment. But it says, this is months ago. Yeah, I heard it before. Gold gets beaten down every time it goes near 2,400. Let's look at what gold is now. Let's see. I just want to get to the spot price. Right now it's 2,900, so it's way above 2,400. Had I subscribed to this, oh yeah, it's manipulated. You don't know when because you never know when they're going to do swaps and all that. I wouldn't have been able to make that call. I wouldn't have been able to analyze the gold market, see it through, because I get caught up in stuff that's just not true. I used to be a bullion dealer, a bullion seller. They love the manipulation story because it tells you to buy at any time. It tells you to buy when things are high because they're telling you the manipulation breaks. And then they tell you to buy when it's low, even if it's in a downward trend, because it's undervalued, because it's being manipulated. It gives them an excuse to tell you to buy no matter what the price. And so that's the truth. So don't get caught up. It's just my opinion. But look, paper, expletives. Well, guess what? It's way above 2,400 now. These things are just they're not good. Uh, uh, and they're not true either. So don't get caught up in them. Let me see another one. I just want to go in the other comments. Uh, let's see. Hopefully this is it. No, that's not it. I've showed it in previous videos, but I want to see if I can get it. Let's see. I don't have let's see, no. Let's see. Anyway, I can't find it off the top of my head. But it was a comment where in the beginning of last year someone said, you said that gold's going to go to 3,000. And that's it. And so yeah, so you can see I did. And that's what happens. Like if I got caught up and studied the manipulation and bought all that stuff, that BS that they tell you, I wouldn't have been able to make that call. Let me see. I think I can actually get to it. Let me see. Let me take a look. Sorry. I didn't prepare for this, but I was thinking about talking in about the Fort Knox Gold, and that's when I really that's when I really this just came to me. This is what came to me. So I was just Anyway, it doesn't matter. I showed you the blast off quote at least. I'll see if I can look and find it again. So anyway, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and just remember disclaimer, nothing should be construed as financial investment advice. I will talk to you next video.